What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Oscar, and today we're with the usual guys, Joey of Joe's Corner and Colin of Team ARG. What's up, Colin?
Oh, hi.
As usual, our video is brought to us by Happy Little Hug Factory. Link in description down below. Now, they are out of the starter deck, so you guys bought those up pretty quickly. For those who did buy him, he did find out that the promo that's included with them is included in the starter deck. So a little, was it reassurance just for y'all to know that you will get your promo.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. He posted it to our Discord. That's why I'm saying it now officially. But the other thing is the booster boxes he has for the new set. He still has some available for you to pre-order. So if you'd like to pick some of those up, again, you can visit the link in the description below and buy the rest of his stock out, I guess, because I've already done it like 2 or 3 times already. But,
yeah.
That's funny.
It's only $80 for the booster box, and especially, I'm getting pretty hyped for the new set, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, and even after the set does release and you get all those boxes, definitely check back with them every now and then. They'll have a buy list that updates. Maybe they'll be looking for some cards you have that are extras, or they'll have some cards in stock that you're looking for, and you can pick some of those up from them as well. So a lot of different things.
And they're
you can
usually
do.
really good pricing compared to TCG Player.
Yeah, depending. Cards here and there. Also want to say that everything we have, cameras, microphones, Joey's sounding good finally, thanks to Patreon.
That was sounding good.
So if you want to become a patron yourself, visit patreon.com/tcgscrubs. Again, link in description below if you want to become one of those guys.
Well,
and they help keep this podcast everywhere. They help us do things that we normally couldn't. We help give back to them. You're doing a giveaway, right? Or is it one going on? Is it over?
Giveaway. It will be ending either when the podcast release today sometime or tomorrow for the star deck giveaway. And if you're a patron and you win those star decks, it's for Warhammer star decks, then you'll automatically win the Patreon giveaway for the playmat. If a non-patron wins that, then the Patreon playmat giveaway will still be going until the 2nd of next month, so you have plenty of time for that. We'll also on Patreon we'll have our mini podcast up today, which should have a pretty interesting discussion between Joey and I. I'm curious how that'll go.
And
we'll also have some.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was going to mention we're also going to be doing some new content on there, video content for Patreon. I want to get more stuff on there. We'll see if you guys like it, so I won't mention it. I'll just throw it up on Patreon, and if you're a patron, you'll see it. We'll see how that goes. But the other one that I'm excited about is when we do. I already told you about it. It's just the talking one, but the other one is just when we play games, whether it's here with our fans table or on Lackey or something like that. After we're done playing the game, that'll be up on our channel, and then we'll do a post-game analysis where we talk about the decks, sort of what we might do different as far as deck building, or what plays we did that we could have done better, or things we saw the opponent do good or bad, and different things like that. Just a nice little post-game analysis for each time we record a game, and those will all be on Patreon, so that'll be something cool to look forward to,
so
I think.
Patreon.com/tcgscrubs, you want to check that out. Something something else I actually want to bring up is talking about that. You did it once, Colin, with Michael, and we never did it again, but I really liked it. I think you had a good reception to it, but was when you guys played y'all's game and then did a voiceover kind of analyzing, like, well, see, I didn't want to do that here because I was afraid you had this card, or I thought this was going to work with this better, but I didn't get to get this in play. Like, that was a cool video y'all had once.
We did.
Yeah.
I think I did that once.
No, you didn't.
Well,
you just did the normal voiceovers or analyzing with Zach, I thought.
We I don't think it ever got out, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But I remember I was playing.
Sounds about right.
Well, yeah. I remember I was playing with you, Oscar, and I was doing like push to talk.
I remember. And
I was talking, I was talking about my plays and what I want to do and what was in my hand, and then I was like push to talk when I was trying to like discuss what I was playing. Yeah, like when I was doing my actions and stuff.
I remember at some point you slipped up and forgot if you were pushing it or not. So you're like, okay, guys, I don't know if and he went to some play and I was like, I can hear you.
Yeah.
But I want to do more stuff like that. A lot of that stuff's fun.
And let us know what you guys like when you see gameplay. Do you prefer gameplay that's just us playing? Or would you prefer seeing stuff that's us doing the voiceover post after the game's already been played? Or a little bit of mix of both? We've gotten different suggestions for both of those. So I'd be curious what you guys would like to see. I like doing the voiceovers and going back over the game and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've definitely had people say they like, just the gameplay and hearing the plays come out, and people saying, "Hey, why don't we get those gameplays, like voiceovers?" So I'm down for whatever. I remember one time I did it with Zach, and it was like after work. It was late, and I was like super tired, so I was like quiet most of it.
I remember that. You guys were commentating my game, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I miss Lethal.
Wow, Joey, that's like your biggest pet peeve in history.
I know, that's why I was so disappointed.
Not his biggest pet peeve isn't you getting lethal, it's you getting lethal maybe 16 seconds too late. Then he's like, oh my god. That's his trick that triggers him so bad.
There was a funny video from Loading Ready Run, and they have their little skits they do. Did you ever watch that, Joey, when I say, "Hey, look, it's Joey"?
Which one? I don't remember. I saw the
guy spends like a good 2/3 of the whole video that they're doing calculating how he's gonna take lethal next turn.
No, I didn't see that one.
Right, I'm about to show it to you. Yeah.
But that's Joey.
But speaking of YouTube videos, there was some that we were going to talk about today that recently came out from Alpha Investments, where he was kind of hinting at some stuff leading with Force of Will coming up soon that he would be announcing, and yeah, we're going to discuss that. So he did recently a Q&A, I believe it's 150,000 sub Q&A, where he was asked about Force of Will and his opinion on the game, and if they should be still adventuring off into their little side games like Casters and what was the other one? Architect?
Yeah.
And what she said, no, they should still stick to one. How they've obviously turned around, they're doing great, and that he had more coming up on it. Well, the more coming up was that he had a deal with as MJ Holdings, which is a distributor that helps get the products into Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, where he pretty much bought all their old stock. Now, for those who are new to the game, or even those who remember, back when Walmart and Toys R Us and Targets were holding Forcible product, it was during Alice Cluster. I remember they had 7 Kings of the Land, they had the Twilight Wanderer, and I think that's kind of where it stopped. They had the starter decks, and then Toys R Us, which was weird. This is before we actually got into the game, but I was following the Austin group, and people were tracking these starter decks down, trying to pick them up, was holding the Valhalla starters. The original ones, the very first starters that ever came out for the game. But they're pricey. I think they're like $30 a piece or something like that. Anyways, he made a deal. He apparently got 20-something pallets worth of product from this company, and of it, and he's been posting it already. I don't have that breakdown I had earlier today, showing the exact numbers of each product he had. Here it is. I got it.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say I can get it.
Ashley
I was like, I don't have it. Wait, no, here it is.
Yeah, no, I found it. So he had items such as 12,000 Alice Cluster starter decks, 2,000 boxes of Twilight Wanderer, 1,000 boxes of Kings of the Seven Lands, 8,700 dual deck boxes, and a bunch of other miscellaneous Force of Will
7 Kings of the Land.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, 7. How many dual decks did you have?
8,700 dual decks.
Those are like the old Peter Pan ones, right?
No, the Faria.
Oh, the Arla ones.
The ones that not Arla. Faria and Nogus. The ones that we bought to start playing the game.
Yeah.
Joey was flailing. He didn't swing and miss. He was like, for like.
I completely missed Arla. Yeah,
5 feet over from where the balls went down. But anyways, and from the look of it, because he's already posting stuff to eBay, he has a lot more than just that. One of the more notable things that he's posting to eBay right now is the Valhalla starters, which makes sense. It came from Toys R Us, because like I said, they were the ones selling that product. And looking through it here, I mean, that's really the only thing that he didn't mention he had that he is now selling, because you see the dual decks. He's selling booster boxes of Twilight Wanderer starters.
He didn't have booster boxes of Valhalla?
No, he didn't.
Because that would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, that would be. If he had just tons of it, it's like, oh, there's all that missing product.
Yeah,
but so then I want to mention real quick, if people are saying what's this going to have to do what's it have to do with the company, the game, all of that. Some people are saying no, it's just Alice Cluster based on the information I had found. But it looks like some of the promos are branching out. Like he has more current promos like Dark Revolution and the Rhea Stone and Gale Force, different things that recently came out within the past year. So
I think that's interesting. Yeah, I I don't know what to think of it really. Like, some of it sounds like just really bad, like a really bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess if kind of like if you are banking off of like maybe like the Wander format like taking off and like doing well, or you know like taking off, then it makes a little more sense. It's just it seems like a lot of that is going to be like
it's
old.
not necessarily just Wander. Like there's like two other markets. There's the collector's market, which is still interested in almost everything except for Millennia of Ages, and there's the like not I wouldn't consider it collectors market. Like people like me, if I go on eBay on his account and if I see like a Twilight Wanderer booster box for $30, I'm just gonna get that because it's a Twilight Wanderer box for $30. That I don't necessarily I collect some cards, but not necessarily Wander. I'm not that into Wander yet.
Yeah, but like having like 8,000 boxes of that, like there's not 8,000 collectors and people that are going to want to buy that.
You just need 1,000 collectors who buy 8 of the boxes for or each or something like that.
That's not going to happen either.
That's another thing though he mentioned was like the pricing of these boxes. Like in his video, he did say he'd sell them for like 10 cents on the dollar to his patrons.
Yeah.
Right now they're on eBay for $50 for like a Twilight Wanderer booster box, which, by the way, the ratios look like they might be off because it looks like it's just open product just laying around in boxes that he's just grouping in packs of 36 and throwing them together.
So these are already
out
open
in your
boxes.
favor.
Yeah, they're already out of the boxes.
That sounds shifty. Just saying.
I said that could work out in your favor.
Yeah. I mean,
you could open 32 rulers.
I considered it shifty too to a degree, Joey, but like you have to understand where this product's coming from. It's coming from the place that had all these packs. They're repacking them into like what they call them, like blister packs, essentially, like the way Pokemon had. To send them to stores to put on shelves. So a lot of this is just sitting around, opened up already.
Okay, and I do remember he was talking about like they did the like
the clear
the MJ
case
Holdings thing. What?
The clear cases for Magic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then and those are basically like I ended up buying one of those for like $20, and I got like the blue blue Commander starter deck and like 3 other like shitty like standard decks that weren't very cool, but like in my opinion like a $20 Commander deck was definitely worth it. It's just it's interesting to me like if this is like if Force Will takes off, I think this is a great great idea, and like if it really does ever get like as big as Magic and stuff, then good idea. Yeah. I don't know, some of the stuff about it seems a little weird, and like
he might be banking on New Valhalla taking off because if he preemptively gets this product, one of two things is going to happen. New Valhalla doesn't take off, in which case he's stuck with all this product, but if he's selling out the prices he's saying, I think he'll still be perfectly fine. People are still interested in this cheaper product that's selling at similar pricing to things like Kaijudo and stuff is selling at after the game is dead. So he's selling at dead card game prices essentially. So it's still going to be interesting. If New Valhalla takes off, not only that a high tide raises all boats type of deal. If New Valhalla takes off, people are going to be interested in the older product, whether it's for Wander or for collection, for curiosity. I didn't play Kaijudo, but I bought a shiz ton of product of it just because it's super cheap and I was interested in it. It was fun gameplay. So it's going to be a similar thing. If someone wants to get into Force of Will, but they're maybe iffy on how into it they want, instead of buying the new box and new star decks, they could just drop $20 and get a booster box, a shitty booster box, and start theory crafting, get used to the mechanics of it. You can get a lot of value out of booster box just learning wise. If you could spend $20 and learn a game down pat, that's not bad. And spending $20 and learning a game down pat and also getting cards out of it is not a bad deal either. So I think if New Valhalla does well, then this is a great investment.
It's just like is he getting like New Valhalla stuff too? Like he isn't getting any of that.
Well, I mean, this deal that he's talking about, it's all old stuff. But if you're one of his patrons and you see what he sells, that he just sells his product through patrons sometimes, as well as the store. He does have newer sets like Wednesday Honest Moon, 80K, and things like that he sells on the side like a normal thing month to month.
Like cheaper, like a lot cheaper. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, I think $79 for a booster box, just like what you would probably expect to pay anywhere. Like, I think that's what Happy Little Havoc Factory prices are. But this is more specific, like, towards all his old product that didn't get to stores to be sold. Is now going through. And one thing I was going to mention is he did mention like $20 to $30 booster boxes, but he's showing the Force of Will ones at $50. But he also doesn't have the Seven Kings one box out yet. So I wonder if he's still uploading. And then if there's going to be like a kind of like this price down later. One. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, right. Like if it's not doing as well or.
Well, no. Like if he's just trying to get all the product up before he just like goes, okay, here's that price drop I'm talking about, because he wants to undercut a lot of the eBay sellers is what he's doing here.
I see.
Yeah, and so it'd probably be better to have average pricing until you have everything listed, and then just do one blanket flunk instead of a slow burn. So because you can't alter the market with a slow burn necessarily.
But I do like that he has Twilight Wanderer. I saw him calling this earlier in chat that this is because like you can't find Uber Dark Alice on TCG Player. They're just not there, and I'm like, this is like my chance to pull Uber Dark Alice. And I told him there's Uber Sylvias in those too, so you never know.
Yeah, that's still, it's not like expensive, but it never like dropped hard.
Yeah, I think is interesting what he talked about, what he said about like LGS is dying, and I think that's what I've been hearing from everybody, like a lot of people saying and talking about this kind of stuff. Like, it's really hard to get into like. It does seem really hard to like get in and introduce new games and stuff.
For sure. Like, but I think that's part of the intent with New Valhalla is to basically be a fresh reboot of the game. This is a chance for, like, I have seen posts of stores and stuff that said they haven't carried product since Reflect Refrain or since a year ago or something like that, and they're getting back into it because of New Valhalla, because it feels like a fresh reboot. So I think as of right now, it's going to be hard to find places, but people need to go to their locals and be like, hey, this, if they're not aware, this is the fresh reboot of the game, give it one more try type of thing. And we're going to see a lot post New Valhalla, so maybe the second booster box, when that comes around, that's when we'll see the biggest hit, because right now there's a lot of interest, a lot of people coming back in the game for this, but it's going to take some time for the local game stores to realize that there's a market of people coming to the local game store and playing, but them not having product to sell. So that by the time that second booster box comes around is when I think we'll see the real big impact that this potentially could have. Obviously, it could go either way, but it has the potential.
I mean, two things I want to mention is, like, one, you can already see it because you can see like our locals starting to get that resurgence of hype again. Like, we had people coming through who I haven't seen in forever. Like, I'm gonna miss a pre-release because it's on this day, or I wish I could have gone, or I'm hyped to see this starting up again. So I'm like, oh wow, it's actually working. To where I'm excited now to go start playing. Hopefully, we get our locals just booming again. That'd be great. The other thing I was going to mention is that a lot of stuff mentioned in his video when he revealed this, it looks like some of it has to do with magic, some of it has to do with Force of Will, and there's this weird like area where it's trying to figure out which is what part, or which is all of it. That's a good point. Because he does mention, I'll talk more about Force of Will later in another video. So there may be something else that has to do with Force of Will that we'll find out soon. So we may also, at certain parts of what we talked about, might be jumping to certain conclusions, but I'm interested to see what he does. I know that him posting this, we just became like patrons not that long ago, and he had posts from over a month ago where he had mentioned this being a deal, and there was people. I was reading the comments, just kind of skimming through, and there's people like, "Yeah, I never tried this game. I'd be interested in giving it a shot, or seeing what this is about." And this is really helping in the end when you think about it, like getting some product in the hands of people at really cheap costs that were interested, that just didn't want to pay into it.
Like, well, I really can't see like a downside on our end, as far as I can tell. Like, now that I'm kind of like processing everything, like everybody gets access to earlier stuff. Like, everything's cheaper. It introduces some more hype to the game. Like, if New Dawn does like end up doing really well, or like brings people back in, like there's avenues for them to get all this new stuff now too, or old stuff. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's a weird like play, but
yeah,
especially after like he's very like I don't watch him, but he's very like salty. Is the best way I can put it. Like, I don't know. It seemed like he like after he got like burnt by I always forget the boosters, the
Millennia of Ages.
Yeah, like he seemed really like negative about it, and so.
Well, I feel like Battle Fighter Act is where he dropped off. He got the product, opened up like 25 boxes, and then none of it sold.
Yeah, I do remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just, he seems like I don't really know why he's coming back or what's, what his plan is. But
he always, there was a video a while back where, because he said, Force Will, it's going to drop off, blankety blank, and then like however many months, I forget which set, it might have been, I think it was post LEL, because LEL did amazing before, the other ones. But he made a video admitting he was wrong, that Force Will was like doing really good again. But I don't think he ever really got back into it, and I think he's seeing what we're seeing, where there's a building of hype. For better or worse, like we had the video from Unsleeved Media going and talking about it, which you read the comments and you had people. It looked like they were interested in it coming from Magic the Gathering. Mm-hmm. We see it. I think it's almost average, like a post every day or two in the U.S. group of people actually posting and saying they're new to the game. That's just people who are posting. Obviously, mm-hmm. I'd say like 1 out of every 10 people would actually post who are new to the game. But and we see comments. I've seen a couple comments in our videos of people who are new to the game. So like I think he's seeing this sort of surge going into hopefully a new direction of the company actually treating stuff correctly.
I thought I remember hearing him say like he actually liked the game too and like what it was all about.
Oh, almost everyone. No, I've never seen anyone not like Force of Will.
Yeah.
Like the game itself. It's how the company handles certain things or their reactions to certain things, the company's reactions or lack of reaction to certain things that pushes people out or makes people leave the game and stuff like that. You can ask anyone who left the game at any point and they'll say they think it's an amazing game. It's probably one of the best mechanically played games on the market. It's just they keep printing sherries and stuff. So,
I mean, I've seen those arguments as well as the ones of like some artwork can turn people away from it. Mm-hmm. Some don't agree with it, some don't like it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, I don't think that's a big deal. I think the amount of people who are turned away is probably like maybe like 1/10 of the size of the amount of people who are returned onto the game because of the artwork. So I think it's better to have this type of artwork than not. Especially, I personally think Magic the Gathering artwor's pretty boring, honestly. So I want something more
They
vibrant.
have some good cards, good card art though. Like I can't take that away from it, but there are some that's like it's a little bit boring, and you can see they're even starting to branch out and start to like work around their borders on certain cards here and there. Even though some of those are more special releases than actual set cards, but you can see them trying stuff now.
They just
it's the Fortnite influence, like with League of Legends is like changing some stuff. Like, see, we're kind of like Fortnite too, and PUBG kind of is doing that too, especially on the mobile version. They're like, yeah, we're even though technically PUBG is the first one, but they feel the need to copy Fortnite now. I think it's that same effect where Magic is like seeing these other card games are like doing these full art cards or these different cool things. And we're like, shit, we can do that too, but they're doing it really weirdly. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like Magic should just like if they're gonna do something unique like that, just do a full shift into it. Don't
I think the issue with Magic is like their specific art style is like caters to a particular like aesthetic that's very like high fantasy, very like D&D kind of like painting stuff.
The problem is maybe it's because we're in the nerd community. I see that so much in so many places. It also could be an American thing. I'm sure people in Japan are like, no, that's super cool and unique. But for me, I just see it so much. I'm like, yeah, I'm bored with it. But this anime stuff is pretty cool.
Right. This is what really gets my blood flowing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Because I need to have my camera off. I was miming the like, oh my gosh, the heroin shot thing. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It totally wasn't coming across.
This brings it full circle. I feel better now. I was like, man, I wonder what Joey's miming. I know he's miming.
Well, you guys didn't get the full effect. I feel like I think it was a really funny gesture. But.
So it's interesting. We'll see what comes in the next few weeks with his new videos, whatever he does. His posts
really
on Patreon. I know they'll begin special deals, like $300 bundle for like $1,000 worth of product. But
the only thing I'm worried about is like, and you know, like I think he kind of mentioned a little bit about this in the video, like the threat to locals and like actual like LGSs and stuff. And I don't know if this is gonna be like, if it'll happen like New Dawn at all, or anything, if it'll affect that boost like set. But you know, if he gets this, and then like you know, and like everybody has like the ability to get these boxes that are like, you know, super undercutting, then that, you know, that would really hurt like the LGSs.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt the LGSs. If it hurts the LGSs, it would hurt in the sense of like, oh man, that SKO box that might have sold in the next month might sell in 2 months instead, or they might have to knock off money that they've lost 3 years ago when they brought in the box and it didn't sell anyway, so they're not technically like they've already written that money off by this point. So
it's just the thing is though, he said there's going to be more, so I feel like, you know, he could have gotten a deal with like getting a new product and being able to sell that too, because like that he mentioned the way he talked.
I'd be surprised if he got anything, even Lapis Cluster. But even if he got Lapis Cluster, I doubt he got anything Rhea Cluster related, especially for a bulk deal.
I really think after watching the video, and he was like, this is just like phase, you know, he's kind of talking like these are really, really early development stuff. Like it really sounded like he had an idea of where he was going to go with this. And like,
but keep in mind, he's also talking about magic. Yeah. That's why it's like it's this blurred area of like which part applies to what part.
And
also, Joey, think of it this way: Rhea Cluster specifically, with the exception of Ancient Knights, almost every box in Rhea Cluster completely sold out at some point. So there's not going to be any pallets or anything of that product sitting around because the company, the holdings, the reason that product's sitting around is because they couldn't move it anywhere. That product was selling, so they had every day that product didn't move, they were losing money. So anything from Rhea Cluster was moved. So that's not something he would have bought in a bulk deal. Lapis Cluster, Curse of the Frozen Casket maybe would be the only thing, but everything post CFC moved like a mofo. Well, no, ENW I don't think moved. But
can you imagine the warehouse for this whole MJ Holdings? And like nobody knows about the deal with Alpha, and like some dude comes in, like, and all the pallets that were Force of Will are gone. Like, whoa, who took all the pallets for Force of Will? We finally burned them. Like, no,
it's like
Alpha bought them.
It's like, imagine if like you guys came to work one day and like all the paper pallets were just gone. It's
yeah,
like, what the fuck
that's kind of what I was visualizing.
Like, yeah, right.
We have
that'd
like
be
that
so
many pallets
funny.
of paper.
Yeah,
but yeah,
no,
like
especially
I said, what?
No, I was gonna say, I'm thinking of like there was an employee who like for the past like 2 years was going in every day trying to convince their boss just to let them have one pallet, and like the day before he finally convinced his boss, he's like, "Yes, I'm just gonna go rent a truck," and he went, paid the money, rented the truck, came in the next day, and they're just all gone. He's like, "What? What? 2 years? 2 years?"
That's so stupid.
I would have been fighting for the palette with nothing but Twilight Wanderer packs. Like, I take that. Uber Reflex and everything. But
that was a good point.
I was really just going to lead it to another conversation because that's really all we had on that. And we'll find out what he has in the coming weeks. Unless y'all had anything else to add on.
Videos. I was going to segue for you.
Oh, well, I was going to segue into something hilarious that I saw on Facebook the other day. Was
wait. Let me. I get off the segue and turn it off.
Was it?
Okay, go ahead.
Was it a really funny meme Colin posted?
No. How much traction did your last meme get, Colin?
Yeah.
I know over 100.
Really? Because I didn't see any like 72, 89, 91.
Oh yeah, because it's literally a given at this point. So I didn't want to know you guys.
Colin's like, it's easy to bust over 100 likes now.
I saw some memes and I was like, man, Colin was sleeping. Where's he at? That was a good one. He should have made that one before this guy did. But anyways, this one I know these two guys listen to the podcast, and it's Matt RG and Jason Hall, and they're on Facebook. US group, for Force of Will. And there was a post, it was this weird thing where like somebody, I guess, cloned a video several times. That was an old video from when Alexander used to do videos. And it was a Pandora deck profile. And it's posted under all these different accounts. And then the part that gets me is that they go into this kind of like description of what's going on. And the first post, like it's Oscar. He does the head of Force of Illuminati. And I was like, huh, what are they talking about me? That's weird. And it's like, we need a statement from the head of Illumunooti, Oscar for sure. And I was like, are they talking about me? Nah, they're not. And then it ends with, probably too busy brewing epic stories. Combo's like, I think it is me.
Yeah.
That was my reaction process as this all started to come out.
That was really funny.
It just cracked me up.
That's like
hilarious.
I remember I was asking for a high quality photo or something back like a year or like year and a half ago, and like somebody met like in the same thread said like oh, are you like Joe from Joe's Corner? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that was like my whole like, I'm Facebook famous now. You know, I got recognized
for like
on
a
Facebook.
day, yeah.
This is a step up because they actually mentioned Oscar first.
Yeah.
Two things. Real quick. One, before I forget, this is totally off topic. I don't know if it's out yet, but you guys go over to Ruler School's channel. He has Takeover Week, and I don't know if our video is out or not. If it'll be out.
It is. I meant to mention it in the beginning or even later on. I was going to bring it up, but he has Takeover Week. Our video came out yesterday on Monday because this comes out Tuesdays, and you can go check it out. It's kind of like hyping up Worlds. All the information is 100% correct and gathered ahead of time. I had all of it ready to go. I swear.
Oscar, you got me really disappointed because we're recording this on Sunday, so I was like, "It's out! Oh, I need to go see what comments are." And I'm like, and then you're like, "So everything came out, and so yesterday on Monday it came out," and I was like, "Oh, so it'll be out tomorrow for us."
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
But Oscar, when you edit the video, you need to take our 3 videos and put them one at the top and one in each quarter, and then have the Illuminati triangle in the background. and then just don't put any context, and so only people who get to this point in the podcast know what's going on there.
Oh my gosh! From the very beginning, that would be brilliant. That'd be hilarious.
And you can even do eerie music and have the triangle fade in, like where, and then we all fade in like over it, like.
Yeah,
I think
I don't even know how to approach that.
Right, this is like completely off topic. I think it'd be really good if like you had it from the very beginning, but it only starts like fading in, doing like eerie music right when you start talking about like the Illuminati. That'd be really funny. We'll have to get together, Oscar.
We will. On the subject of Ruler School's video. We didn't know the pricing yet. The pricing did come out, the information on that. We can mention that. And I was trying to get to the website. I couldn't get to it on time because we're talking. But I do know that there was something new to this that I don't remember being there before. How do you get to it? It's just forceful.com.
But last time we talked about it?
Did we talk about this already? The pricing structure?
Yeah.
No, I can't remember if we talked about it on the Takeover Week podcast.
Well, in the Takeover Week podcast, you asked me what's surprising, and I went, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't get that. It's because it wasn't posted yet. It didn't post till like days later."
Yeah. And then we talked about it on the separate chat about how they're getting. Well, I won't spoil it for anybody who's because Oscar's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead, Oscar.
No, I mean I can't find the page to get the exact information. I'm trying to get to it. All I know is that they're getting it. Like one of the top positions is pretty much product for the year. Like I think 2 boxes of each set that releases for the
three boxes.
3 boxes of each set that releases for the remainder of this cluster as they release. Yeah. So like when we get to the next set, they would receive the product for that set.
They said day of release, so I don't know if that means they ship them ahead of time to time it so that they arrive on the doorstep. I'm sure it really doesn't matter. They're getting 3 boxes of free product. But it's not. The implication is like, oh, the set's out, and then like a month later you get your product. Like it sounds like you'll get the product so that you can start testing with it and all that. I assume for competitions.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But I know it broke down beyond that because like certain spots only got 2 boxes, and I don't know, some of them didn't get any, as well as the World's Invite and the like the prizing cards, like the plated cards. I think that was about it that they were getting. Oh, and world invites for the following year.
I think we also didn't get the amount of attendees, did we? Like, did we talk about that?
I gave you the number of invites. We don't know how many people are attending until the actual event because people will get paid invites. Like, say there's like 180 unpaid invites in the U.S. alone. I'm pretending. I don't know if that's the real number. You already know like probably like 20 people will show up. Like, if I had an unpaid invite right now, I wouldn't be going. Besides the date, but because I wouldn't probably have the money for it, probably wouldn't have had the passport in time, depending on when I get the invite. So all these different things kind of factor in.
You probably wouldn't have the money for it, Oscar. You're saying there was a chance you would have $2,000 laying around,
depending on the date I said.
Yeah, Oscar.
If I had planned ahead of time, I could have saved that money up. I would have done the 52 hours of overtime you did the other day. That's how busy we've been. Colin did so much overtime.
Yeah, I know.
But we've stayed on schedule for our videos, and that's all that matters. You'll notice, you could probably go back in the last like 2 weeks of videos, and you can pick out which ones we recorded not ahead of time, but during that week I was doing that overtime. There
was one. There's actually a series of them. When we did the Star Deck videos, you can tell. Okay, so Colin did his overtime for the day. How many hours did you do that day? It was a Sunday. You did like what,
Sunday? 8? So that's the end of the 7-day week. So I had worked all 7 days, and so that week, including my work, drive time. I did the math of this because I was curious. Work time at work, drive time because my commute's an hour there, an hour back, and editing for a side job I have, not TCG scripts, just a side job. I did close to 90 hours.
But I asked for the day of. Dang it, Colin. So how many did you do on Sunday? 11.
Well, no, on Sunday. Yeah. So, so that'd be
8 hours.
8.5 hours.
8.5 hours.
No, 8.5 or 9 hours.
8.5 hours, whatever. 9 hours. I go over to his house to stay the night that weekend so we can record. He's already making like dinner. Then we have an anime group that we do where we kind of watch animes and discuss it. He had to do that discussion.
Oh yeah.
Then we did the Patreon podcast. And then we got to recording games. Had to set the whole camera system up. It was the first time setting it up, and I recorded all those starter deck games. And I didn't do it immediately, but I did it for the final video. Is like you can tell how drained. Like I know I didn't do as much as he did, but I was still drained. Like we were both tired in the night. It was like I had to increase the audio, add another volume modifier, and increase that audio all the way up so you could hear us. But he was just really tired.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I was like, yeah, that's funny.
Well, yeah, as I was telling the story, I was like, man, it was going great earlier until it took Colin like 30 minutes to tell us how many hours he worked in a day.
Well, you were
and
very...
And the guy with the whole humor at the end of it. I was like,
you're very flat. You need to be concise, Oscar. Because you were very...
I asked how many hours he worked Sunday, did I not?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then he said, well, hold on, let me calculate my entire week.
To be fair, I was very interested in how many hours Colin worked also.
But anyways, no, and the release of the videos, I think was almost identical to our recording, like which one recorded. So like you start off with the half decks, and we're like, oh man, this is pretty fun. Whoa, these are cool combos. And you get to the last one, we're like, we just played the game, and we're like, all right, we're done. And that was about it. Like we,
if I had the in between takes of all that, it'd be like, oh man, we got one more, right? Yeah, just gotta get to this last one.
And Oscar over here. Because he did, obviously he was part of the anime discussion and the podcast and all that. So he was talking that whole time. And by that last video, he edited it out, but he was having coughing fits. But he refused to walk off camera to get a drink of water, which proved to not work at all because he edited his coughs out anyway. So it would have been this less editing time for it, but he had this weird refusal to drink water as he was saying I'll take my turn.
I got a lot of those costs out. By the way, I edited that video originally, uploaded it, and then it became like a fight against the clock. Like, oh no, I need to take that back down, re-edit it with the coughs out, and then upload it again. I got that done the night before it came out.
That was great. It was a whole thing.
Oh yeah. Anyways. Go ahead.
Okay.
I got a subject matter that will take up probably the last chunk of this video. I just want to see what you had to say.
It's the thing I talked about ahead, but I cannot do that. Might take up some time, so I can.
Okay, no, I was gonna say your news comes out Tuesday, or you record your news Tuesday nights, and they release Wednesdays. But it's funny because every single week, generally, when news comes out for Force of Will, it comes out Wednesday mornings, and you miss it for your news, which is unfortunate. But we had 2 articles come out. One of them I didn't really read into that much because I'm not interested in becoming a judge, but there's kind of a revamping to the entire judge program, especially for the U.S., on how the judging system will work going forward. I know they had level 0, 1, and 2 judging. And the level 0 judge is essentially like if you were to be at your locals helping judge, say, pre-release or states, essentially. And there is an online link. I'll try to put the link in the description below for all these articles, where it kind of explains there will be eventually a link that you'll visit to take these judge programs and how they're easy and whatnot. But to become higher level tier judges, you go to events and whatnot. Just take a look at the article. Like I said, I didn't read too much into that one.
Yeah, I remember. That was really interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty curious. It doesn't seem like necessarily. I should probably read over the article before I comment. I'll just say it didn't seem like the revamp that I was thinking it was going to be, but it is some cool changes. But I'll have to read over an article before I make a judgment.
It sounded
I'll
like
go over all my news.
It sounded like it based on what the article was saying, because I remember the old judge program or test was supposed to be very, very difficult. It was supposed to, I think, created by the Italian judges and translated, and some things were difficult to understand, or I think just difficult tests in general. I don't know if they've revamped it since then, and then this is a super duper revamp, but this is supposed to be, I think, slightly easier for people to take, is what I'm trying to get at, and more accessible for people to take, especially become just a level 0 judge, which is like, cool, you're a judge, you know. But and
not easy in the sense of like, oh man, now anyone can judge. Easy in the sense of like I've seen, I don't know if this was still the case, but I remember seeing someone take the judge test on the spot, and it still had questions, I think, about life break and stuff like that. Like stuff that not only hasn't been relevant in forever, but is not relevant in any format of Force Will, period. Like, it's not even like, but it was still like a part of the judge thing. So it's like making it accessible in the sense of like actually making it relevant.
Also making it easier in the sense of like taking the test and everything. Like, you know, you don't have to go to some...
Oh, yeah. A GP or something.
Well, I think that's still just for the level 0. Level 1 still requires you to judge the GP. And then they also require you to maintain that level 1 if you want to become, like, every X amount of time. You have to keep taking that test over and over again to show you still have it.
That's smart.
But let's go somewhere with this. I just remember them saying, like, and Pokemon did this too. I remember taking the Pokemon judge test a couple times where there's cards in the test that just don't exist in real life. They do them just for the judge test to put you on the fly. Really? Like, this card is all of a sudden a card that you would never see printed in Force of Will, but now here it is in the scenario. How are you going to analyze this situation when you're being called to the table? Yeah,
that's smart.
But yeah, the article I did. So first of all, that article itself mentioned something that like sparked my like interest, and I was like, wait, what does this mean? But nobody was really talking about it just yet. And then there's a second article posted, and it was that there would be WGPQs, and that was a qualifier for Worlds, and they would be holding these more. And then what the second article showed was you're now going to have Grand Prix and as well as Grand Prix qualifiers, which would get you to Worlds from the sounds of it. But these are small events held at local stores, not actual large, you know, event centers like the way GPs had been all season. And the article says their goal is to have 8 WGPQs and 2 GPs run by Force of Will, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, this is thought that just coming up now, for the qualifiers, is like, I would assume that they're all unpaid invites, right?
I don't know.
Because if they're not, what's the motivation for anyone to go to one of the real GPs that has a way less likely chance of actually winning it? You know what I'm saying? Why would what motivation would there be for anyone to go to those? And then also having only 2 GPs is also super weird because I don't know. I like big events and the hype of the big events, and this feels like a scaling back. Like, I like the idea of the qualifiers. It sounds super cool. But I would have liked that and to coincide with what we're already doing with GPs and stuff like that. But if we just have a bunch of tiny ones that are, you know, 12 to 20 people, those aren't ever too fun to watch or be excited for, and we always write those off as not enough people to determine what the meta actually is and stuff like that. And so if everything that's professional and enforceable, with the exception of 2 events, is like that, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like you said, like tracking the states, and it's not the definition of the meta. Because I remember there was a states in Texas that happened that had 40 people show up in North Texas, and the winning deck was a Faria deck, the Inheritance. So you were like, oh yeah, it's not a defining meta event. We're not going to pay attention to that. And if that's what all of them end up being because they're all at local shops, then that becomes interesting. And for anybody wondering, they're going to be tracked because there's a new system also being released for. Hold on, it's already out. It's been out, and it's what stores should have been using for when doing pairing and tournaments. But now it has somebody looking on the other end for all the information coming through to track how much attendance certain stores are getting, and the greater attendance stores are going to be the ones that get that ability to be a qualifier store, which is based on, I think, on space and all that type of stuff and how they can run their event. But it's also how the stores would get their promos, which I thought was cool. I don't know if that was in your news or not, but that's a bit that we just found out recently too.
So is that like a computer program?
Yeah, so it came out, I think, during BFA or right at the beginning of Lapis Cluster, and it was a program they released on their website, and you can go download it, but there's no use for you to have it. It's because from your distributor, you're supposed to get a login information and key to log into the program and run tournaments, and they would get the tournament information on there and Force of Will. It also had a little thing where you report how many people were shown to your locals, and it had no use until now, where now they can have somebody on the other side who can see what's going on and send promos, which is what the big influence is, help send promos out. But now it's also how they're going to figure out where the WGPQs will be.
Well, yeah, and the way you were describing it, I'm curious if Jeff was like, hey guys, I need more science, I need more research, more data.
More data.
So yeah, so maybe he would try to push for reintroducing that and stuff, and
So Colin, we're just talking about the actual program software that's being released where they can track, and he's saying he thinks it's kind of Jeff's way of getting more data in. Stuff like that. I didn't know if you had anything.
His data.
I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to weigh in on that, because it's a great way for stores to get their promos. It's going to be an identifying way to see which of the larger stores are going to be possibly get their WGPQs, stuff like that.
Jeff's all about that.
Yeah, no, I love that idea of the new software. I'm hoping it all works good and everything like that, and because I think it's especially important to make sure that stores are getting their promos, because distributors tend to be done with that. So this is a great way to work around that, while also rewarding stores at the same time who are not only hosting Force of Will product, but hosting Force of Will players at their store. It's sort of a twofer, and it's making sure that both requirements are met and stuff like that. So I think that's a good idea and all that.
Yeah, no, I like
There's something I was going to say regarding something.
On that, I know that there's going to be more information coming out. Now, a lot of this is just very brief, and they're going to kind of define more to it later. But again, hopefully I would have put those links. If I forget, make sure you do it. Links in the description below for those articles. You can go check them out yourself. They should be on the website, but sometimes the website's harder to get a hold of and find things.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it's impossible to find the world's info. I keep looking for the article, and I have to go to their Facebook page just to find that article, just to find the information I needed. But and they're supposed to update the website. We haven't gotten that yet.
They promise that every 3 months that they're updating.
To be fair, websites are hard. Coding, probably good, coding.
You know what's not hard, Joey? Joey. Yeah, I was about to say. You know what's not hard? Acting like an actual company and hiring a third party to make your website. You don't have to learn a new skill. You're a company. You pay someone to do that.
You really think
you don't learn English and then translate your own cards. I mean, I assume they did that for Valhalla, but after that, you have the money to hire a translator. You don't have to learn English. You hire someone who knows how to do that.
They literally switched print companies because they were having money issues. You think I have enough to hire someone to do?
We assume that's what I assume, they're having money issues, and it led to them probably losing more money off of TSW and all the crap they had to do with that, which is why you don't do that, dumbos. But yes, I think they should. I don't know. The face of their company is their website. You should put money into that.
I don't disagree. I just, if there's no money to go to it.
I think that if our website is on the same level as theirs, and we spent like a week making ours, granted, it was a hard week, but we have no website experience, and we're able to pull off our website, and I would say it's an identical level of navigational and all that stuff to the Force website. That's not good on their not to diss our website too much, but it could be better.
Yeah, it could be much better. There's some non-mobile friendly pages on our website that, don't worry, I'm going to work on getting those better. We were at the GP Collinsville, and we had some people approach saying, hey, this could be better on the website, which is awesome. I really like getting that feedback so I can help make those things better. But here's to hope I can act on those. Yeah.
But here's the thing. We're going to try acting on that information. We're not going to sit on that information for 2+ years and make a better version of the website for other countries, but not the U.S. for some reason. Just copy and paste the code from the other country's website.
I think those are independent. Like, those are run by the distributor of the company, or the countries.
Then hire whoever independently made that.
Yeah. Just
buy their code off of them for a discounted rate. They don't even have to make the code again.
That database on the Italian, pretty much a European area, is a really good database. I liked it.
Yeah. I totally forgot. They keep telling us they're updating the website, and they got me all mad again.
You can't just copy paste code either. It doesn't work like that.
No, you don't copy paste code, but you can take the base code and you input the new information, such as a different language and all that, and it just updates it automatically. It's a similar theme to if you're in Photoshop and you have 10 layers that are copies of the first layer, and you replace a file in the first layer, it copies that for all the following layers. It's the same thing.
So we're getting near the end. Con, you had something you wanted to talk about as well?
I'll just briefly go over it because we're going to wind down here, guys. So just be on the lookout next week, assuming nothing happens. We should be starting to release our video series, which will be going over. Oscar can briefly go over. We'll be releasing 5 videos.
It's in the air right now. It's only because I haven't had time to sit down and actually record the videos, and that's kind of what's delaying the entire process of them being released. We talked about this months ago, and we wanted to be out or either already or leading up to the release. It could be on the release or even after the release. We'll see how it goes. It's anywhere between 3 to 4 videos, maybe 5, depending on how that all runs. I already got written out like intros, and each video after that. And it's kind of like, it's going to be a video series you can share with people if people either don't know what it is, want to know what it is, or you're trying to gain, traction in your locals and you want people to see what the game is. Maybe your locals, if they have TV screen, can run it. But it's essentially like, what is Force of Will? How do you play Force of Will? How does set rotation work? How do promos work? How does the ban list work? What are the different formats? It's every information bit I can gain from that. And I've worked with people like Stephanie Shaw, Jeremy Franklin, and Taylor Norris on getting all this information correct and getting the information as well. So it's not just, and it has sources and everything.
It's not going to be big 40-minute videos. It's going to be bite-sized 5, maybe 10-minute videos, and about 5 of them. And like I said, we'll throw them in a playlist so that you can share this playlist easily to people, or like you said, LGSs to play on the TV, or whenever someone wants it. We want something that's easily accessible and shareable to just be like, hey, you want to get in the game? Here's the most up-to-date information, and then and there'll also be.
I was just gonna say because the LGSs are definitely gonna want our ugly mugs on their televisions.
Well, when we went to Kid at Heart, when it was a thing, he used to want to be able to play Force of Will related videos on the TV, but there really wasn't anything he could play readily available, or any Twitch stream of people playing the game. Yeah, so Twitch. He never really had it. He'd just be like, okay, I guess I go back to Magic videos. Bloop, there's like Tolarian or the GP for the weekend Magic, whatever it was. But
also there'll be a little video, hopefully ahead of those videos. That's going to be a fun little thing I did to sort of get you guys hyped for those videos. It's going to be a short little video. I think it's going to be pretty funny, and it'll include some special guests. That'll be pretty cool. I already got 2 nailed down, so we'll see if I can get more. If not, you'll know. But I for sure have 2.
It's also going to have one of the videos will be Joey doing his translation of Magic to Force of Will, because that's another large audience of people coming to the game of Magic who may not know the difference in terminology or translating the word to word here, and what the things are, differences in procedure. But that will be a thing, and the longer videos I think that there will be on there is the how to play as well as the history. Those are the only 2 that I'm seeing that would be like a chunk of a video essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also keep an eye out for Joey's pre-release video this week, going into pre-release. Each set release, he has that, which is always super helpful. So that, and hopefully an article to accompany it as well.
I feel like people have commented saying thank you for it.
Yeah, maybe like the first one or two. I feel like.
Anyways, that's about it for today.
I'm just getting on myself.
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.